Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ZB Network podcast. I'm your host, Spigel, and I'm here, as always, with my stalwart co-host, HexTupleU.
Hello, everyone.
And also rejoining us for the first time in what feels like forever, we have Xiaber.
It's great to be back.
Welcome back. We're great to have you back. We want to get you on all these shows, but schedules just haven't worked out lately. Nintendo is doing stupid things with Nintendo Directs, doing them in the middle of the week. It's really inconvenient times. Anyway, we're glad you're back. And we're glad to actually announce this piece of news that I teased at the end of the last podcast, is that we are no longer the Zelda Board podcast. If you didn't notice, you see on your screen here, it says ZB Network. Also, I said we are the ZB Network podcast. And that's because from now on, this podcast is going to be tied to our brand new website that Hex has put together for us. And this website is really groundbreaking and revolutionary, and there's never been anything like it. And Hex is now going to tell you all about that.
Oh, great. Thanks for all the pressure.
You got this.
The ZB Network is a website that we came up with when we realized that the Zelda board at IGN.com is really cool and it has all of these great people who have great ideas, but some of these ideas are kind of restricted to like a closed community of people, and the only people who get to read it are the people who are already part of the Zelda board. So we were thinking, what if we could create a channel where we can push our ideas out to the rest of the world as well? So that's where the ZBN came from. And that's essentially what it is. Anybody who has really great ideas and has talent, we can kind of bring them on board, and then we can feature their content on our website. And actually, we have a couple special guests that we're going to have later in this episode. The hosts of RushTheFort.
Yes.
If you're not familiar with them, they are an LP channel that has been going for, I think, a year now? A little over a year?
A little over a year, yes.
So yeah, I hope you guys look forward to that. But yeah, definitely check out the website. It is called the ZB Network, and you can find that at www.thezb.net. Not .com.
I believe you mean to say HexTupleU.thezb.net.
Yeah, if anyone wonders where my name comes from, there you go.
If it doesn't make sense to you, just read it over and over and over again, and then you'll be like, oh.
Yeah, think really hard about like Latin prefixes and things like that. It'll click.
The same way that Hex puts effort into everything he does, he also put a lot of effort into choosing a username with a joke in it that would go over everybody's head.
Yep.
So yeah. The website is awesome. He did a great job on it. We're currently just starting out, just producing content for it. I actually just put up part 1 of my top 50 games list. So if you want to go check that out, make sure you leave comments. Make sure you share it with your friends if you like it, because we're just trying to get the traffic up. Get the word out that this site is ready, and we're producing stuff, and we're going. Whether or not people are on with us, we're still going to keep producing content, so just hang in there and keep following us, and we're going to have a lot of great stuff. In fact, Xiaber's probably going to write an article for us.
Yes, I hope so.
And one thing I want to kind of emphasize is the fact that, there's already these gaming fan sites out there and news sites that are covering things very comprehensively, and we don't want to try to replace that because, they exist and they're doing a good job, so why should we try to go into that fray?
We're not really a news site.
Yeah, we're not a news site, but we are going to be covering some of the kind of news that you would get, but more from a personal angle. This is my speculation on this piece of news rather than this is the piece of news. So, yeah, I think it'll be fun, and I hope you guys check it out because I think I would read it if I was one of you guys, so that's all that matters.
Nice.
Of course.
Yeah. That's enough of that for now, because we do have a show to do, and I don't want to get too bogged down with this. So let's start off, as always, with a little bit of news. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter show, by the way, because we have that interview coming up later, so we're just going to do like a quick 20-minute segment, probably, to start the show. The first piece of news that I had, obviously, was we actually recorded this show on Friday night, and we were going to use it, but then, of course, as usually happens, something we talked about had a fairly large piece of breaking news the next day. And when I say fairly large, I mean that's relative, but one of the things we talked about on the previous recording of this episode was Majora's Mask 3D, and we were wondering if, because the news came out that the new 3DS was going to have certain features that the regular 3DS version does not have, or is not going to have. And that instantly reminded me, of course, of the Oracle games where you could play it on Game Boy Color or you could play it on Game Boy Advance and get the special features. So what are your guys' thoughts on maybe what those special features for the new 3DS could be?
Well, I think one of the initial thoughts I had that we talked about a bit the last recording was being able to use the additional analog stick, or C-stick as they're calling it, which is more like a C-nub, but being able to use that for camera control.
It's like a pencil eraser from what I understand.
Yeah, kind of like that. But yeah, camera control would be interesting. We haven't had camera control since, well, I guess Wind Waker was the last one, or Twilight Princess on the GameCube as well, didn't it?
I don't know. I actually never played that version.
But yeah, that would be cool to have because the N64 version did not have another stick to use. Other than that, I can't really think what else they could do that the regular 3DS can't. I mean, there's some extra buttons on there. Maybe they could use those somehow, but I don't know. That's all I've got.
Yeah, for me, I really wouldn't be surprised if they added like an extra masks or something. Maybe not transformation, but who knows? Maybe just random Easter egg masks or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like maybe the masks from Ocarina of Time could make an appearance, like the ones that didn't get used, like the spooky mask. And I don't know, there was another one in there too.
Yeah, perhaps because of the additional inputs that they can utilize, maybe some ideas that they might have had back in the day that the controller didn't have enough buttons for, maybe they could bring those ideas back to life or something like that for additional masks. But I don't imagine they would be pivotal to the story or being able to complete different segments. So only Nintendo knows what's happening. So it's anyone's best guess.
And one of the other things that I thought was interesting about this piece of news was that, I know this doesn't necessarily mean anything, but one of the things that I took from it was, wait a minute, Majora's Mask 3D is going to have new 3DS features. That means the new 3DS is going to be launching very close to the launch of Majora's Mask 3D, maybe the same day. And if this game is coming out in spring of 2015, March is a very big month for video games, and it always has been, because it's the next big month after the Christmas shopping season. Wind Waker came out in March. Numerous PS4 and Xbox One games are coming out in March. Big ones. And it looks like the new 3DS is on target for a spring 2015 release, just based on that alone.
Well, it does seem pretty likely since it's already released in Japan and somewhere else, isn't it?
Australia. And I think the only reason they're waiting is just because they still want to sell 3DS XLs this holiday season. I saw that Nintendo of Europe had announced a special edition for the game with maybe I'm wrong about this, but I thought they had a purple 3DS XL with the Majora's Mask logo on it or something. Might have been a fake, but I think I saw this at some point. This is really good journalism right here, by the way, but that's what I saw.
Well, we're not journalists, are we?
Well, maybe. So, anyone have any thoughts on the new 3DS release date?
It sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Better before E3, so yeah, it works for me.
The real question is, when will Xenoblade Chronicles come out on it?
I mean, you got to figure it's probably a launch game, right? They're not building it from the ground up, are they?
I don't know.
Well, I imagine they have to kind of. I mean, it's like trying to make Donkey Kong Country Returns on the 3DS.
That was from the ground up, huh?
I don't remember, honestly. I don't think I ever knew. So maybe they have to take the resources that they already have and downsize them, like textures and things like that, and simplify the models. But I don't know. It's a Wii to a 3DS game, right? So it's hard to say.
I don't think it's totally out of the realm of possibility. Go ahead.
But back to Majora's Mask 3DS, we've also heard that apparently there's going to be fishing in the 3DS game.
Oh yes, this was the next topic I was going to bring up actually. So thank you for doing that. This was the thing that was announced that we had to sort of redo the episode for. It was the fishing, and then the fact that they're changing up one of the bosses, I think they said.
And they didn't specify which boss it was, did they?
No, but
we have a hunch.
Yeah, it seems like it's Georg or George or something.
George. Yeah,
it's
changing George the fish. They're changing.
George.
We did see in the trailer that he had this eyeball in his mouth.
Yeah. I thought that was an interesting design choice. I think it kind of makes sense from the standpoint of the fact that the bosses are supposedly wearing masks, right? So maybe the real Georg doesn't actually have a fish face. Maybe he has like a single eye that's just gross and hanging. So he just puts a mask on top of it. So his real eye is inside the mask's mouth. That's kind of how I interpret it. But maybe my imagination is just way too wild.
I think that's incredibly stupid.
Why, thank you, Shay.
Sorry.
I question how he's supposed to eat.
Yeah, how can you eat if you just have an eyeball?
I don't know. Ask every other weird eyeball boss out there.
Maybe he just like absorbs nutrients into his eye, and then they.
How does Calidemos see?
No, it just doesn't make any sense. Really, is what it is. It's stupid.
They just stare at you and they suck you in somehow.
They suck your soul.
He eats your soul.
Yeah.
Through his eye.
Somehow. Okay, this episode is devolving very quickly. So let's move on to something that is not eye related, and we're going to talk about the Mario Kart 8 DLC, which was released on Thursday, and pretty big deal, pretty huge deal actually. I mean, look. I mean, we just got close to a quarter of a Mario Kart game. We got 8 new tracks, 3 new characters, 4 new karts. I mean, it's crazy, and we haven't all played it. I've played about half of it. I know Hex has played all of it. Is that correct?
Yes.
So talk a little bit about your impressions of that, and I'll kind of chime in when I can. And Xiber, you don't have the DLC, right?
Nope.
Okay, maybe someday.
Someday soon. But yeah, I had the opportunity to play it again today, so I've been through both cups twice. Actually, I've been through the Triforce Cup 3 times. Still haven't gotten 3 stars on it, by the way. But I did get 3 stars on the Egg Cup on my first try using the Master Cycle, which I've never used, and also I never use bikes, so why I was able to get 3 stars on my first try using a card I've never used, I had no idea.
Because Nintendo games are too easy.
Well, apparently not for the Triforce Cup, because I failed miserably on there. I got 8th place on my first try, and I still haven't gotten 3 stars. I don't know what happened to me. Maybe it was because I was trying to use a B-Dasher or something like that.
So what's your favorite new track, and what's your favorite new? I was gonna say new character, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
Well, everyone knows who the favorite new character is in all instances. It's got to be Link.
Yeah, it's Cat Peach, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
That was a really necessary addition.
Yep. Thanks for having 4 versions of the same character. Anyway, but yeah, Link is great, and my favorite track is probably I like Dragon Driftway a lot, but I also it's hard not to favor Hyrule Circuit just because it's Zelda. We're the ZB network, everyone knows what that Z stands for, but
Zounds.
Of course. But I really like I guess not new, but the old SNES Rainbow Road. I love that one. It's really interesting. It's got like a different feel than the other Rainbow Roads, where it's not really as treacherous. I mean, there's no walls or anything like that, so you can still fall off easily, but it's just a bunch of 90-degree turns, and it's kind of cool how the thwomps are just like creating crazy waves, and it kind of feels a little bit more chaotic just because if in the other ones you're kind of in a line, like a train of cars, you're never really next to each other that often, but in this one it's more like an arena, so it's interesting.
I made this joke yesterday, but like they should make an entire Mario Kart of just Rainbow Roads, because we now have we now have 3 Rainbow Roads in this game. Like, you think that's enough? I don't know. Maybe.
Have they revealed the tracks for the next DLC yet? They haven't, right?
No, they have not. I'm hoping it's going to be all Rainbow Road. But
if there's another Rainbow Road, my goodness. We do know there's going to be one.
The Mario Kart Double Dash. I thought the Double Dash Rainbow Road was awesome.
I don't have a good memory of that one, actually.
Me neither. They need to add more Bowser castles, though. Like, I remember the Game Boy Advance one had like 4, I think.
Yeah, it did.
Really?
Cup had one, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. They had the one Bowser Castle I thought I would like to see return is the Mario Kart 64 one. I thought that was a really awesome one.
But yeah, I think the DLC is really strong. I think I'm definitely looking forward to the next set. And good going, Nintendo, for being really great at your DLC. You're doing a good job.
Yeah, they're killing it. One thing I wanted to add, my personal favorite track of the ones I've played was the Excite Bike one, just because I love the idea.
Oh yeah,
I think it's really
randomly
cool.
Generated jumps and whatnot.
Yeah, and since I've been playing as Link, obviously more than probably anyone else, one thing I noticed, there's a lot of opportunities to do tricks on that track. So you do tricks, and they always say something, they yell something. Link strangely yells something that sounds an awful lot like "hell yeah" on when he's doing
Oh
tricks.
yeah, definitely.
Sometimes.
It sounds like he's doing it in a Japanese accent.
It's so funny. Um, and then one other funny thing I noticed was on Mute City. You drive by this part with like this billboard, and Captain Falcon's on it, and he's saying, "Show me your moves," which I'm like, okay, this is the game of the year right here. Like,
Yep,
you don't even
classic.
need Smash Brothers. There's a Captain Falcon "Show me your moves" reference in Mario
Yeah,
Kart
they should
8.
just stop making Smash Bros. Games.
You don't even need it now. It is Smash Brothers. It's
Yep.
Smash Kart. And you know what? That's fine. I'm fine with it.
Seriously, I feel like they've reached the pinnacle of Mario Kart, so they just need to make Smash Kart. Like, that's the next step. What else are you going to do from a gameplay standpoint? There's nothing left to do. Just make
really
it
don't know.
Smash.
They've already gone in the air. They've already gone in the water. Right?
They're in the water, they're in space. There's no frontiers left.
Yeah, I don't know. Where do you... Well, that's a subject for another day.
Yeah, I guess so.
For sure. We got one more thing to talk about, and that is, obviously, this is kind of a strange topic because we don't really go here that often, but lately on the Zelda board there's been discussion of the Sonic franchise and how creepy their fans are. No offense, if you are a Sonic fan. But I couldn't resist.
We had to go there, yeah.
Yeah, well, if you've been in the off-topic thread, you know what we're talking about. But anyway, Sonic Boom was released this week, and has not been received well, to say the least. And this is one of the things that we talked about in the show yesterday that actually came to fruition today in the form of a big piece of news. We were talking about why the game was so bad, and of course, if you haven't seen it, like, I haven't played it myself, but I mean, I can just watch it in the videos and say, like, well, this looks terrible. Do you guys have anything to add on that? Like, just...
Yeah, it's got like a 39 on Metacritic. Does it still have that rating? Because when we recorded yesterday, it was below Sonic 06, and everybody knows how bad that game was.
I don't know if it's still like that. Keep talking. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, these reviewers are consciously rating it below what they already know is a terrible game. So, I mean, I was watching more Game Grumps playthrough of it today, and man, you've got loading in cutscenes, you see random characters jumping around, changing their position in the scene before the camera angle changes, and random lighting changes before they're supposed to be queued up, and people just glitch after terrible design choice. It's among the, and in some ways I think it is worse than Sonic 06. At least Sonic 06 knew what it was trying to be. This game just has no idea what it is.
And it's still a small sample size. No reviews have been added since yesterday, but it's still a 39, which is not good. I mean, that's not good. I mean, that means that at the best, like, the scores are barely above 39, you know?
Yeah.
And the highest score is a 50.
Yeah. So it's not good. And the reason, it wasn't like a press release, but a piece of news came out today that the developer behind the game, Big Red Button, actually had, quote-unquote, a mass exodus of employees while making this game. People were quitting the company because they didn't want to make the game anymore. And I'm not sure what that means, but I do know that it probably resulted in the game just not really being finished, and certainly not polished.
Right. And I wonder if it's part of, Sega and their insistence on getting these games out as quickly as possible. Like, there's a really short cycle for development in most Sonic games these days, and it's kind of sad.
It's a year.
Because it shows,
I mean, and the thing is that they want to get it out for Christmas, right? Because all the kiddies are going to snap this up. And, it's to be expected.
Right.
And Sega's just a money whore now, basically.
Yeah, and I think it kind of conflicts with a lot of the developers who are on Big Red Button. Like, some of them were, they worked on Uncharted and things like that, so maybe it just didn't agree with their standards. Like, I want to be able to take the time to make this game as complete as it should be, but Sega's pushing me to really get it out there before it's ready, and I don't want to stand for that, so I'm just leaving the company. That seems like that's what I would guess kind of happened. I don't know. My best guess.
I find it a bit funny, though. It's like all these kids are going to buy it, and then all the parents are just going to sit down, watch, and start crying, thinking about how awesome Sonic used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The parents, man. I don't know. I mean, are parents that out of touch that they don't know how crappy Sonic's been for the last, 16 years?
Basically.
Whoa. Shots fired. Okay.
But, yeah, just let Nintendo make a Sonic game just to see what it would be like, I mean, that's been said so many times by so many people, but I still think they should give it a go just once, just to see if it would work.
Nintendo should make a Sonic game, and then they should sell out Mario to the other companies.
Oh goodness. Let Mario. Oh, don't let Sega make a Mario game. They touch it with the Olympics and it's bad enough.
What would a Microsoft Mario game look like? It would just be.
It would be in first person and it would be a
gray
shooter.
and brown, and you'd be shooting Goombas, but not like regular Goombas. You'd be shooting the ones that look like the ones in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, they'd be humanoid and everything, right?
Yeah, and Bowser would be played by Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, we
There'd
can
be
see
lots
that
of
we have no
explosions.
bias here, do we?
Right. No, not really. I'm not. Look, I'm not ripping Microsoft, and regarding the, I'm just like stereotyping, but and regarding the Sonic thing, like I don't relish like bad Sonic games. Like I get all gleeful like when the Sonic game is bad, but like it's only because it's so funny. Like I don't want the Sonic games to be bad. It's just when they are bad, it's like, oh, that's amusing. I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I do relish it. I don't know.
And along with a crappy Sonic game is a crappy Sonic TV show.
Oh heavens, Sonic Boom the
Yeah,
show.
go ahead. Riff on this for a minute.
I somehow went through the first 2 episodes, and I don't know how. Like, it's like a...
Were you inebriated at the time by any chance?
No.
Okay.
It was like watching a really crappy, campy Saturday morning cartoon, except that it was awful. I mean, like, one of the episodes has Eggman say that his, like, home was destroyed, so Sonic lets him sleep at his place. And so then Eggman has this plot of keeping Sonic and Tails awake for the next 2 days so that he can destroy them while they're really tired. And then his robot, like, mishears him and so starts destroying his house that wasn't actually destroyed. And then it is destroyed, and by the end, it's all like, hey, Sonic, sorry for trying to destroy you, but can I sleep in your house again?
Goodness, there's no
That's like the
dignity left.
that's like the dumbest thing ever in my life. Like I can't even get over that. It's so stupid.
I watched like 8 minutes of the first episode and I couldn't handle it. I just stopped. I mean, there's one line in the game where Tails or something says, "There's no time like the present," and Knuckles says, "There are presents." Like, what kind of writing is that? How
I
low
saw-
do you have to stoop to be able to write that?
I saw this clip where Knuckles was like they were just going through this area, and Knuckles was like, "There are things inside those things." And I'm like, what's
How
going
stupid
on? Like,
could he
who,
be?
who
Goodness.
wrote this? Like, whatever.
I don't like the character designs. I don't like the personalities that they gave them. Just give me Sonic from before, but in a good game, please. Spend like 4 years on it or something. Please?
It's sad. It's like a joke at this point. Like I feel bad almost for making fun of it so much, but it's like, well, you reap what you sow, right? Like you're not going to spend time on these games. They're not going to be great, and at their very worst, they're going to be abysmal. So it's sad to see a formerly great or at least good franchise just kind of flounder and die. That's
Yeah.
basically what it's doing. It's not even putting up a fight at this point. It's like, what if this happened to Zelda? Like, what if it happened to Pokemon? It'd just be like, well, that's it.
It'd be depressing, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's at the hands of their creators, too. Like, Sega originally made Sonic, so it's not like you can blame a third party. I mean, I guess in this case, with Sonic Boom, you can. But, seriously.
But, I mean, come on. Like, I mean, it's Sega pushing this deadline, right? Like, they couldn't have seen this game and been like, yeah, this is ready for release. They're not stupid.
Well, they're spineless, apparently.
Well, yeah.
Well, I could go on and on about what's wrong with the Sonic franchise, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's a subject for another episode.
Yeah, I just question why they're still making them.
Sonic games in general.
Money.
Yeah.
Well, he's
Money,
an icon. I mean, he's still popular. He's still got a huge fan base.
Oh, yeah.
A really creepy fan base.
Well, let's not go there. Come on.
Yeah, we might have Sonic fans listening to this show thinking, hey, who are these guys? Why are they making fun of my new favorite game? Game of the year, Sonic Boom for Wii U.
I'm
mean,
sorry,
remember-
fan. Maybe you're
remember-
not one of the creepy ones.
Remember, I was a formerly huge Sonic fan, and the name that I go by in real life is the name that I gave my Sonic fan character, like, I don't know how many years ago, 11 years ago. So there, I have my credit. I can say I was a Sonic fan at one point, so
You were a
I'm not a
card
hater.
You are a card-carrying member.
That's correct.
Hex is a secret furry.
Oh goodness, let's
By
not
the
go
way-
there. Let's definitely not go there.
That's a different show, not even a different episode. That's a different show. So one last thing I wanted to say about this was How sad is it the Wii U finally gets like an exclusive third-party game, and it's this? Like, oh gosh. I mean, I know Watch Dogs comes out in like 4 days, but honestly, who cares at this point? Our big, as Nintendo fans, our big third-party title is Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric.
Yeah,
Applause.
I mean,
Yeah.
Slow applause.
I'm racking my brain to try to think of another third-party game that's coming out. And there's
Watch
nothing.
Dogs. That's it. Watch Dogs, and Sonic Boom, and that's it. Maybe some like random. Maybe some random like I saw a new Hello Kitty game in GameStop today, but.
Maybe when Smash comes out and sells more units, maybe it'll be more attractive to third parties. I don't know. I mean,
I'll tell you one thing about Smash. It sold me 12 Amiibos. So Nintendo. Oh God, I'm gonna kill myself over that.
How much money was that?
How many? It was like because I get a discount for working for GameStop, so I get like 15% off. So it's like 100 something, 105 or something. But I can't. What a bad decision that was. But anyway, you got me. You got me, Nintendo. You got me.
I'm kind of waiting to see if there's a subsequent Amiibo based on the franchises that still give you the same functionality in those games, but look a bit nicer. Because I think the actual Mario, like standard Mario figure, looks a lot nicer than. I don't know. The Smash Mario figure looks pretty good, but a lot of the figures are just bleh. So maybe the official Link figure will be better. Maybe. I'm hoping, and maybe it'll do the same things that the Smash Link does. You'll just have to wait longer.
Okay, Xiber, thoughts on Amiibos? We gotta go.
I'm just wondering, are they actually out now, or are they just pre-ordering?
I pre-ordered mine. They're out in 6 days.
Okay. I like the idea. I'm definitely not going to buy all of them, but I want to buy Zelda, even though she's probably going to be useless, so I'll probably buy Link first.
Yeah, like, I wonder how much use, like, some of these are gonna have. Like the Shulk one, it's like, okay, he's gonna be in Xenoblade. That's about it. I mean, it's not like he's going to have functionality in Hyrule War. Well, maybe, who knows?
He'll give you rupees.
Like, I enjoy them. They're good collector things, even if you don't use them for actual games. I'd love to have a NES one, even though it's probably going to be completely useless.
Well, it'll come out for Mother 3 on Wii U. The one that Reggie said they're definitely making. That's what he said in the E3 conference, right? Something like that?
I don't remember that.
Well, it's not my problem to remember.
I'm pretty sure Reggie hates that series.
Yeah, probably. He probably just hates fans fans like you constantly asking about it.
And this is why I hate him, because he's always giving me bad news.
Hey, he'll beat you.
My body is ready.
Okay, on that note, let's get out of here. We got an interview to get to. So after the break, we will have an exclusive interview with RushTheFort. And it's going to be awesome. I quizzed them for like 20-something minutes on just whatever. So if you like that, if you like Let's Plays, it's going to be something worth listening to. And if you liked our show, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like it. Make sure you put something in the comments. Visit our website. We got so much stuff for you to do now. Any final thoughts, anybody?
Nope. Watch RushTheFort and go to thezb.net. That's all I can say.
Give us some user questions.
Oh yes, user questions for sure. Oh, I know we haven't done them in forever, but we need to get back to doing that. So we will do it. We promise. Okay. Tangents aside, that'll do it for this episode of the ZBN podcast. Thank you everybody for listening, and stick around. Actually, it's not the end of the episode, but that's it. That's it for us. Because all we got now is the interview. So, that was awkward. Okay. Good night, everybody. Hey guys, welcome back to the ZBN podcast. Today, I mentioned earlier we're going to have a special treat for you at the end of the show, and this is not really the end of the show, but it's kind of like a second half. As we've been launching this Zelda Board Network, we've been looking for people to help us create content, get stuff out there, so we can have a steady stream of content just coming straight to you. And today, me and Hex are really excited to bring you the team behind RushTheFort, the YouTube channel that creates the Let's Plays that you've been watching, hopefully. And here we have with us today Josh and Todd of RushTheFort, ladies and gentlemen. Josh and Todd.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, nice to be here.
Yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself so that we know who is who.
Oh, I'm Todd. I go by Todderico.
Yeah. And I'm Josh, or Ghost2, or the Ghost2. Depends on where on the internet you know me from.
Yeah.
And Hex, say hello again, just so we know, just so
Hi.
everyone knows you're still.
I'm still Hex.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna do a little bit of an interview here. We've done this in the past. We've interviewed a couple people, but obviously this is kind of a special situation because a lot of you may not know these people. Especially if you're just on the Zelda board, you may have seen RushTheFort's videos in the past. You may have seen one or two of them, but we're really going to be focusing on just having them on the site, getting their content straight to you, having it featured on the site. So we wanted to sort of get their personalities out there, make sure you know who they are, so that you can hopefully start enjoying their videos on a more I don't know what kind of level, a different level. A super serious level. I have no idea what I'm saying. I should have written out a monologue or something. But we're just going to start asking some questions. So just make Spanish Inquisition style interview right here. Just either of you guys, if you have an answer, just go ahead and answer. What inspired you guys to start making Let's Play videos in the first place?
It was back in our senior year of high school. I had just discovered Game Grumps, which is a popular Let's Play show, for those of you that don't know, with Egoraptor and, at the time, Jontron. And I introduced that show to Todd, and we both got really into it, and that kind of inspired us to eventually go on to make our own LP show.
Yeah, which coincidentally, our show idea for like what we were going to do wasn't going to be a Let's Play. We were going to do some sort of like a live feed streaming of us drawing and like sort of talking like how we did in our independent art class kind of thing.
Yeah. And like we would sometimes like get some sketchbooks out and then start having little
like a doodle
sketch
war.
offs. Yeah, doodle wars. And we thought that would be a fun thing to do, like to stream that, but we never ended up doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future. Maybe.
I think people would still be interested in seeing that because that sounds like a pretty cool concept to me.
Yeah, we talked about it right before this, and we were like, hey, we totally could do that, dude.
Yeah, we could still do that.
Yeah. So you guys know each other from high school or before that even?
Yeah, we met in 6th grade back in middle school.
Yeah.
We didn't really see each other much since then until later in high school, but yeah, that's when we first met.
That's cute. So one of the questions we usually try to ask our guests is like, what's your favorite game? So both of you just, what's your favorite video game?
My favorite video game is Metal Gear Solid. Usually I would say that's subject to change, but that has been my solid favorite for that unintended joke there. It's been my favorite for a while now. So yeah.
Mine would be like Wind Waker HD was a pretty big one for me for a while there, as I would like bawl over it in our show. Like, it's so good, and like,
hey, you're not wrong.
I know. Right?
It is a really good game.
I get really into other like games for a while. Right now, I'm into like Kirby Superstars, which we might do on our show soon.
Yeah,
Ooh, I'd be very interested in watching that.
Yeah.
And actually, that kind of leads into my next question. What is your process for choosing the next game that you're going to do a Let's Play on? Like, do you have like a set list of games that you pick from, or do you just sort of go like, oh yeah, this would be fun to do?
Well, when we started the show, we like gathered up all of our games into like a pile and like compiled it onto like a Google Doc. And so we haven't looked at that since, actually.
Really?
We had come up with an initial list of stuff that we'll play on our first day of RushTheFort, and we had Wind Waker on there and Crash Bandicoot, maybe a few others. And we haven't looked at that list since.
No.
Basically, how we choose games now, it's just whatever we can come up with.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I think we should play Crash Bandicoot 2. And then we played Crash Bandicoot 2.
It tends to be like what when one of us will have experience in the game and we'll be like, hey, I really like this game, you should totally play it. And I'll be like, all right, I'll play Crash Bandicoot 2 until those boulders keep crashing into me.
Yeah. Oh, that stage, I remember that.
Until you rage quit. And then I pick it up.
Yeah. And what really depended on what we did in the early days was what was compatible with our recording software. It was primarily Nintendo for a while there because our stuff wasn't able to work with PlayStation or Xbox.
Yeah, what we started out with, it wasn't working with a lot of consoles, and that was kind of a bummer, but at least we were able to record some stuff.
Yeah, and now that we have our stuff nowadays, we can do pretty much everything. We even have some stuff for our computer.
Yeah, so
Ooh.
we're probably going to be starting doing some PC game stuff soon-ish, maybe.
That'll be exciting.
Potential teaser there.
Yeah, maybe.
Gonna make a big announcement.
Exclusive Zelda board podcast.
PC
Review.
games is coming your way.
Steam the Fort.
Oh, geez, it'll be like a Steam trained version of it.
Rip off Game Grumps even more.
Seriously.
Rush the PC.
Actually, you mentioned, I think it was Josh, you said, like you usually go into a game that you have at least one of you has some knowledge about. Do you try to like inform the other guy if maybe only one of you knows like as much as you possibly can about the game in order to give them a background on it so they can talk about it?
Yeah, that's typically how it works, and it also gives more room for like more stuff to talk about. Like like when we started with Metroid Fusion, Todd didn't know much about that game. He doesn't know too much about the Metroid series.
No.
So I spent a lot of time in that series informing him about different aspects of the Metroid series, and
It didn't spoil much for me though. It was like, oh, what's that thing? He clearly knew what it was.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I mean, that's cool. I mean, it's not like we go talk about it like as if we're like reading through a book, and it's like, oh yeah, and this is what happens at the end. Also, the viewers that were interested in maybe not having it spoiled.
yeah, it's a little more relaxed.
Yeah, I mean, so you kind of know what's going to happen going into it. So like you don't have any organic reactions on the show. Is that right? Like if you see something like a major story plot point, for example, like would you have an organic reaction to that?
I mean, one of us will probably have it at least.
Yeah, the person that's less experienced with that game probably will.
If we haven't played a game in a while, then we both are like, oh, because there was that one scene where we were leaving the temple the temple in Wind Waker.
Yeah.
And it was like the king should be talking to us any minute now, thinking we're all like hot shot know what's gonna happen, and he wasn't there to talk to us.
That happened later in the game.
Yeah.
Would you say that you make a priority out of having at least one person kind of blind to the game that you choose, or does it just kind of vary?
It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, we were both very familiar with Mario Kart when we played Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
And so it was just both of us having fun playing a game that we both love. It doesn't necessarily have to be that one of us is going in blind.
Yeah.
Although it would be interesting at one point to go into a game completely blind.
Yeah, both of us haven't done that yet.
Mm-mm.
So even for that Kirby game I mentioned earlier, I already played through most of it today.
Right.
And yeah, going into a game completely blind can sometimes lead to trouble with getting stuck, and then that just bores the viewers more often than not.
Yes.
And I would also imagine that sometimes if you don't really know what's happening, like you wouldn't really have as much to say about it.
Yeah.
Is
more
that
like
yeah?
It's like, what do we do? Where's the star? Josh, you said the star was on the penguin. Why? And we have to look it up and like skip scenes.
Yeah, that happened a few times in Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
I forgot where the stars were.
To look up speed throughs. Stuff like that. So yeah, sometimes it doesn't make, especially for adventure games.
Yeah.
If it was a very linear game that we didn't want to do, just go right.
I was gonna ask you, like, does your approach change for doing different types of games? Like you mentioned Mario Kart 8. Like, is your approach to how you sort of play that game differently than say playing Metroid Fusion? Because obviously Metroid Fusion you have a goal, but Mario Kart 8 you can kind of just like do whatever. So do you kind of go in with more of a structure for Metroid Fusion, how you're going to record the episodes, or like for Mario Kart 8 you're just messing around and just recording whatever happens?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, usually we don't think about it much, but like the way we plan out how to record episodes changes depending on what kind of game it is, and sometimes like our commentary kind of changes depending on what kind of game we're playing. Like if only one of us is playing, then it's usually more of a one-sided commentary thing.
One-sided.
Mm-hmm.
And if both of us are involved in the game, usually we're both actively involved in the commentary as well.
Yeah.
And there are some games that are more atmospheric, like Metroid Fusion got really atmospheric at times. And that, I mean, it's definitely really cool, but for a dual commentary show,
Yeah.
that can lead to a lot of quiet moments and not really knowing what to talk about. But with a more active game like Mario Kart 8, we could like constantly just go from one thing to the other because the game is very active with both of us.
Yeah, that's why we've sort of been leaning towards like co-op games and stuff.
Yeah,
that we can both
we've been
be
trying to make a push
involved.
towards co-op games recently.
Nice. That's definitely something I'm interested in seeing because I like seeing people like working together. Like I think I don't know if you take suggestions. Do you take suggestions for
Yeah,
LPs?
Yeah,
You do?
sure.
I think it'd be really cool to see someone do Hyrule Warriors.
Oh,
And
yeah.
obviously, it'd be difficult because of the whole the frame rate thing with the gamepad and the fact that you can't see everything. But I don't know, you could have two people in the same room kind of playing it. I don't know.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, we could think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, that was awkward. Just
Neither
don't
of us
say-
Neither of us have the game yet, but
Yeah.
Oh really? Okay.
I was planning on getting it eventually.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's awesome. So I don't
It's
know.
on my wish list.
Yeah.
If only it had online play.
Yeah.
Right, Hex. Right, Hex. We'd be playing all the time.
Oh, definitely. I
Yeah.
have to catch up on the game. I haven't played since like the first week.
So I've always wanted to ask someone this question because I've never actually known anybody who does LPs, and now that I'm kind of there, it's like, well, this would be a good opportunity because I've always been interested in doing something like this because it seems to me like the ones that are really really popular, they get a lot of attention from the internet. Like you get these like famous LPers like the ones that you mentioned at the beginning of the show, and it's like what? Yeah, exactly. And what advice would you give to someone who like wants to make their own LP videos, and like how do you make yours accessible for a YouTube viewer?
Well, like one of the biggest things that sort of started us off is we started with like very cheap equipment, testing the water sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we made a point of not really caring too much about like the video quality and
Yeah.
audio quality. I mean, obviously we wanted to make the best of the equipment we had, but we didn't really see it as necessary for us to have all the high-end equipment to start out. It's like if you're going to start doing an LP show, then just start doing it. Don't wait until the right moment because that right moment might never come.
Yeah. And one of the biggest things that I always keep stressing is like you gotta like work on the commentary before you make it so that the equipment would be worth it to match your commentary.
Yeah, because if you find out that you're no good at it, then you don't want to have to like spend all that money
Yeah.
and then it's just
Right.
wasted.
Yeah, I mean that was sort of the pitfall with doing this podcast. We waited till like 8 episodes in to realize that we weren't any good at it. So that was
And then we kept going.
yeah.
I think you
well,
guys are pretty great at it.
here we are. So speaking of equipment, like what kind of setup do you have? Do you have like obviously you have a pretty high tech capture card, right?
Yeah.
Now we
I really
do.
don't know how any of this stuff works. So do you mind explaining that a little bit?
We have the it's a Hoppage PVR2 GE Plus, and what it works is like there'll be an HDMI cable plugged into the Wii U,
Hmm.
and that HDMI goes to the Hoppage, and then that has like an HDMI that goes to the TV and sends footage through this USB to the computer itself, like that.
It's not actually as complicated as it sounds.
So it sounds like it's like a 3-pronged device that basically has
Yeah,
an HDMI coming out and going into the Wii U, and then one into the TV, and then a USB into the computer. Is that right?
yeah, it's like
Mhm.
a powered video splitter, really.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason that like that stuff doesn't work with PlayStation, obviously, is because it doesn't have an HDMI, right? Or does it have
Well-
different outputs?
This one does.
Yeah.
It has some RCA cable business. The
Okay.
thing was before was the only ones that we could do had to have RCA cables because we used a DVD converter.
Yeah, we
for our first
used this
recording hardware.
DVD converter thing that was
God,
supposed to be used for recording DVD stuff, but we were using it for Let's Plays.
video games.
I mean, it was what we had and it was cheap,
yeah,
so it worked for the time.
not good for 1080p.
No,
I can assure you that.
When
Like,
did
go
you
back-
stop? When did you stop using that? Like when did you switch to your new one?
Oh,
When we started playing Wind Waker HD, was it?
yeah.
Yeah, we
'Cause-
we made sure that when we started Wind Waker HD that it was actually HD, so it mattered. Because at the time we were in the middle of doing a playthrough of the original Wind Waker on the GameCube,
yeah.
Right.
and when Wind Waker HD came out, we're like, oh, well, maybe this could be like a restart for our show. And
Yeah, we tried doing the Wind Waker HD with our DVD converter.
oh, it did not
It
look good.
absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that was kind of a
Yeah.
push to get us to get HD recording software.
Okay, and so someone looking to get into this, what is the investment cost? Like, what
Oh.
would you say you have to put into this?
I don't know about the hoppage itself. I'd have to look that up. It was like a good what? 180.
It about almost $200. Not quite though.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, all I can say is, no matter what the price is, I'm glad it's at least at a high enough threshold that we don't have these horrible Let's Play videos just overpopulating YouTube, because it's obviously a pretty big investment. So, God, could you imagine if it was like $20 and just like everyone had one?
Oh, goodness.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
I was afraid when the new consoles came out that they had some of this recording functionality built into the console. It's like, oh no, we're going to have all these terrible LPers popping up, but it doesn't seem to be affecting it much. It's more like capturing small moments and things like that.
Yeah, no. The PS4 has that built into it, but I haven't really seen I haven't seen too much of that actually.
From what I understand, it's just sort of like what Hex said. Like, it's just like small moments that you can capture and just share with your friends and stuff like that. So
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, there's already enough crappy phone videos on YouTube. We don't need more. We don't need more of that stuff. So, so I guess last thing, what would you say makes Rush the Fort unique to any other LP out there?
One of the biggest things that sort of like we like sat down when we talked about like what we should do is to like, I mean, we don't curse, like, use curse words and stuff.
Yeah, we don't curse on the show, and that part of that has to do with how we also try to have like some of our younger siblings and relatives watch this too.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to alienate a younger audience just because of cursing.
And it's been sort of like a personal challenge ourselves, because our humor outside the show can actually be pretty vulgar.
Yeah. Like it can get pretty bad sometimes. But none of that shows on the show.
None of that shows on the show. It's a whole different show that we don't record.
The uncensored, uncut version. Rush the Fort.
We were thinking about almost as a joke, just doing an uncensored Rush the Fort episode and then posting it as a private video.
One idea we had was like rated M games, then it's all right to curse because the kids shouldn't be watching that anyway.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. We haven't done really a rated M.
We have yet to do that.
So
maybe sometime.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, is that the reason you guys haven't really done any of those? Like, I remember, like there's a number of games out there that I'm sure people would like to see LPs of, especially ones with more organic reactions. Like if one of you guys hasn't played like Resident Evil 4, for example, like that'd be awesome to get the organic reaction from the other guy. But especially if it's uncensored,
yeah, because it sort of boils down to if the game curses,
then why
it
should be okay for us too.
Well, you're gonna have to bleep out the game. Then that's too much work. I don't want to do that.
And since we haven't really done a rated M game, so like maybe like at the beginning of our videos we could put a warning for some of the younger people that watch our show. Like my little brother watches our show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of those like video pause things you can do on it now.
Yeah.
YouTube has a lot of features. I've learned that as I've uploaded all these podcasts. I'm like, I don't know where to go.
Not enough features though. Not enough.
Well, I really don't know about that because all I do is put up an audio file basically. So.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to do it for this interview. So thank you guys so much for doing this. It's been fun. I had fun learning all this stuff. Because like I said, I never get to talk to LPers because I don't know any of them. But we're very excited to have you guys on board for the site, the Zelda Board Network. Of course, again, you can find us at the zb.net, and you'll be able to find Josh and Todd there as well. So do you guys have any final words? Anything you want to add?
Well, thanks for having us on this interview.
Yeah. And it's all like, and for future Let's Players out there, don't give up, just keep trying.
Don't give up too early. Like
going through junk, cliche junk like that.
Cliche.
Sounds good. We're all about that here. So thanks for listening to the show. For Josh, Todd, Hex, Xiaber, everyone else who was involved in this episode. Thanks so much for listening, and y'all come back real soon. Thanks for listening. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Cue Animaniacs. Yakko. Good night, everybody.
That's all, folks. Okay.
More endings. We need more.
I am not. Can't think of any more. I couldn't even think of that first one. Okay. What else is there? Are you ready for some football?
That's supposed to go at the end.
Yeah,
After the game is over. Are you ready?
that's right.
Put all.
Are you ready for some football? Too bad, it's over.
Nobody's listening to this anymore. Thank you. Good night.
Cut all of these and put them at the end, so it's just all clips to be like, "Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow. Have a nice night.
Goodbye.
Have
I stopped
a good
recording, by the way.
football game."
I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm still recording, so I have all this
I'm
captured.
no longer. I already recorded my outro. I'm done.